3, 2, 1. Welcome. We'd like to welcome each and every one of you to the Power of Compliance, hosted by the City of South Fulton, but in particular, the Code Enforcement Division of CDRA for the City of South Fulton. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Give yourselves a rousing round of applause for making it out tonight. So at this time, I want to introduce our panelists. Well, I'll allow them to introduce themselves. We're going to start with Will Adamson.
I'm Will Adams. I'm the Safety Building Inspector for the city. Been there almost 7 years now, since the city started.
Good evening and happy Thursday, everyone. I am Latrice Moss, Area Development Services Manager with Community Development and Regulatory Affairs. I'm on the permanent department today. It's exactly 2 years I've been here.
My name is Paul Muhammad. I'm the Director of Code Enforcement. I've been with the city 6 years.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Martinez, Public Works Deputy Director, and I've been with the city for a year and a half.
Good evening, I'm Donna Ziegler, and I'm the fire marshal. I've been with the city for 6 years now, and we enjoy coming out and sharing this opportunity with code enforcement to give out valuable information to our citizens, the people that we want to serve, and that's what we're here for, to make sure that we give you as much information and as much service as you deserve. Welcome.
And also introducing our lovely hostess, Laquita Alexander and Desiree Moody. So give them a round. So they'll be taking the questions next to the panel. No question is a wrong question. The only wrong question, really, is the one that you don't ask. So just so you know that. So I'm going to start it off with a small presentation talk. In code enforcement, we want the community and the citizens of South Fulton to know that self-improvement is the basis for community development and compliance, and further improving the quality of life. We want you to know that we are here to serve you. I know, sometimes it doesn't feel like that when someone may want instant gratification on an issue, and we sympathize with that. But I can assure you that the officers with the City of South Fulton Code Enforcement that you see scattered out in the room, that they own the job and own the case. And if you feel like they're not, let's talk about it. Let's see what it will take to change the way you view the City of South Fulton and the way that you view code enforcement. So give our officers, if all our officers that are here will please stand and give them a round of applause for the hard work of the City of South Fulton. So, code enforcement, we're about building a better us. We believe that building a better us is how self-improvement will strengthen the community and code enforcement. And it has a ripple effect, but it starts with the individual. If the individual is going to improve themselves, they want to improve their community. If the individual improve themselves, you think they will want to have high grass and weeds if they focus on improving self first? You think that if an individual focus on improving themselves, they will want to keep a junk vehicle that's not licensed or inoperable in the yard and low? Who wants their property value low? Nobody. If I asked everyone in this room if you wanted your property value lower, you would probably say, with some explicitives, no, right? So, but it starts with the improvement of self. So we're going to launch a campaign, a self-improvement campaign, because sometimes we only attack things from policing, from enforcing or whatever. But if we don't get to encouraging the citizens to improve self, the problems will still exist. The problems will continue to exist. If you don't change the mindset about trash and debris, about illegal dumping, it's a mindset. It's a learned behavior that I'm going to ride down the street and throw my McDonald's bag out on the side of the road. That's a mindset. People don't just naturally do that, but something has happened that has caused this mindset to exist or to flourish in our community, and we intend to do something about it. So we contend that self-improvement is the basis for community development and compliance and better code enforcement. So with that, I yield to our audience, to our hostess to get our questions going. So once again, only wrong question is the one you don't answer.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to start with our code enforcement division. And our first question tonight is going to be, what is the correct number for citizens to call when they need to talk to someone in the city? Starting with code enforcement.
Well, for us, they can go to cclickfix.com. I don't have a phone number off the top of my head. Someone help me with the exact phone number. The city's phone.
470-809-7200, and there should be an option to select code enforcement.
Very good. So we improving our system because a lot of citizens have complained that they have not been able to reach anyone. But we have improved that system so that there are options. When you call that number and you can click or select that particular option to go to the department that you want to get to. So just so everyone knows.
Okay. Can you tell us tonight, what is it that code enforcement does in the city of Southfield?
The primary thing that code enforcement does is improve the quality of life. That's our goal, to improve the quality of the lives of the citizens of the city of South Fulton. And we do that by proactive enforcement as well as reactive enforcement. So we're not just a reactive enforcement arm of the city. We're also reactive. So our officers each day, they go through various zones and political districts throughout the city looking for code violations, looking for illegal signs, looking for illegal dumping, looking for all the things that you are concerned about. And so that's what we're about, improving the quality of life.
I know that if we have a complaint with the city, we can answer complaints into our C-Click Fix database. Why do when I put in a complaint, sometimes it says closed?
Well, in the past, it has said closed, I would say prematurely. So what happens, the citizen believes that once we close it and C-Click Fix, that it's over with, that it hasn't been answered. They go out and still see the violation there. So what we have done now, we have changed that narrative by keeping that case open all the way until there's a court verdict is reached. So that lets the citizen know that this case hasn't been closed. Because sometimes there's unknown realities that's there. And when it's unknown, people develop opinions about what's unknown. So when they go to C-Click Fix and see it's closed, there's an assumption that nothing has been done because my case is, how could it be closed when the car is still out there? So we changed that and turned that around to keep those cases open so that you could feel better about the Code Enforcement Division. Not only the Code Enforcement Division, but the city in general. So we're changing those narratives, we're changing those operations to fit our city and concerned citizens of the city of South Carolina.
Thank you for that. Our next question will be for permits. Can you give us an example of some things in the city that will require a permit if I wanted to alter some things at my home?
For residential property, permits are required for alterations, construction, or changes or improvements that can be $25,000 or more. Anything that actually changes the structural integrity of the property, anything that increases the footprint, whether it be square footage, height, or something, anything that permanently alters the property. You want to add something?
No, I just got a question.
Sure.
Does the city allow tiny homes?
We do not have a planner here on the panel, however, as far, from what I understand, we do not have an ordinance or we do not have an ordinance or regulations for tiny homes in the city of South Carolina.
Thank you for that. Our next question is for land and erosion. Can you explain tonight what is it that the land and erosion is supposed to do in the city of South Carolina?
Broad question, but basically, when something is permitted through the permitting office, then I issue LUPs, which are land disturbance permits. Once the land disturbance permit is issued, they can clear whatever many trees or grade or whatever they need to do, install erosion controls. On the residential side, that's more of like houses. I deal mostly commercial, like lower scale land developments, meaning neighborhoods, warehouses, anything commercial. You have to see me throughout the project. So from the time you break the teaspoon of dirt from the ground, you got to see me. And I'll be visiting that site throughout the building process until I seal it, which is a certificate of occupancy. So once it's done, and that's all done, the SEC is moving. But I have the project from start to complete.
Thank you for that. Can you let us know at what point would it be required for me to get an LDP permit?
Anything over an acre disturbed would require an LDP permit. Meaning, if you got 2 acres of land and you only gonna clear 1, you still gotta have the LDP. So you still gotta have the land disturbance permit.
And there are some other stimulating circumstances, buffers, and nature trees.
Exactly. Buffers also come into play with the city. A buffer is any land 75 feet from a running stream. So it's a state buffer. So a buffer means an area where you can't do any construction. None. Next to a creek, none.
But the great thing is we have, very informative planners on staff who can answer those questions specifically based on that, particular property, its zoning and other factors. And so you can actually speak to CDRA by contacting 470-809-7200 or sending in those type of questions to planning, PLANNAING at city of South Fulton, GA.gov.
Thank you for that. Our next question tonight will be for Public Works. I live in a residential property on a main road in the city of South Fulton. I have issues with a lot of illegal dumping. At what point is it my responsibility to clear the dumping, and at what point is it Public Works' responsibility to clear the trash?
Line in. Bluetooth connected.
The illegal dumping, anything within the right of way, just call in the Public Works or do a C-Click Fix ticket.
Bluetooth disconnected.
And we'll get that taken care of. And again, that's anything within the city right of way. Now, if it is on private property, that's another matter, and that will be handled through code enforcement. But let me reiterate, anything within the right of way, any illegal dumping at the end of the road within that right of way, call 470-809-7409 or upload a ticket onto C-Click Fix, and we'll get that taken care of.
How would they know what the public right of way is?
More often than not, the public right of way is delineated by the poles, power poles you see. It's usually 10 to 15 feet from the back of the curb or edge of pavement. But right within the power poles that would help you designate where that right of way is, there is no clear designation or a line that says right of way or private property. But that's a good start if you have a power pole there. Now, if you have an area in question, again, put up in a C-Click Fix and contact Public Works, and we'll help you discern that delineation of where the public right-of-way ends and where your property begins.
Thank you for that. We have one of our other panelists that is here from our courts department. We'll allow her to introduce herself.
Good evening, I am Carrie Stevens. I am the case manager for municipal court.
Thank you, Carrie. So if you have any questions related to the courts, municipal court, please feel free. So let's get some questions from our audience. Anybody out there got any questions? Any of our visitors? Yes, sir. Get her a mic.
I'll speak loud. Okay, I would like to know, do code enforcement come in on private?
Yes, ma'am. Normally, so her question is, does code enforcement come in on private property? Typically, we're invited. I mean, in our regular, we can only go where the mailman can go. unless we're invited beyond that point. So once we're invited beyond that point, say a tenant has a landlord issue or slumlord issue where they're not taking care of the property. So typically, we'll get a call or seek a fix to come out because the plumbing is messed up. Come out because the door fell off the hinges, or there's an infestation, bed bugs, rats, roaches, you name it. So we get all kind of calls for property. That's what we do. We police property.
So, does a neighborhood property, like, is that considered the invitation onto the property as well?
Question, for clarity, is a neighboring complaint an invitation to come on their neighbor's property? No, it's still not. So, but what can happen is sometimes the neighbor is complaining about something they see in the neighbor's yard. We can come on that neighbor's property to view it, what's going on in that neighbor's yard. Because we can't go in someone's backyard without permission. And I think that the community sometimes have that perception that we can. And we really can't without permission. It's a violation of Fourth Amendment rights to do so, so we have to get permission to do so. Yes, sir.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. Well,
I'm Dr. Jackson, how you doing? I'm from Baldwin Park, and I'm really asking a question about the overnight parking, right? Because people are not supposed to be parking on the street overnight, okay? So we have some challenges with people parking overnight, and we really need help in terms of making sure that those particular people who park overnight on the street, you know.
is there a no parking sign on the street? Are you talking
No,
about?
but we're in our development, you know, we're not supposed to have, you know,
Okay.
parking signs and everything, but everybody knows that you're not supposed to park on the street in South Fulton, you know, in a community, in our community. So they all know that they're not supposed to be parking. And so sometimes we, you know, submit this information, and a couple times code enforcement came out, and sometimes they didn't. But people are parking on the street in a particular area, not all over the place, but in one little area called the Serenade area, where they're actually doing it.
So what we'll do, we are a city, so different things fall into different jurisdictions.
Right.
So the street is, anything on the street is considered traffic violation. So it falls under the jurisdiction of police, but because we are collective, not just individual entities, we'll partner with them to assist in exactly what the issue you reported. So what I want you to do is get with staff in the room, and then we'll come over there and address that issue, and we'll bring police with us. So they can address what's in their purview, and we can address in our purview, and it'll be a unified effort. How that sound to you?
Oh, that sounds great. I just want to make sure I get some numbers tonight.
We'll take care of it. I'll say this to our city. We don't see everything that's out there, because it's a large city.
Right.
So we're gonna miss something, but that's why we have you to let us know when situations arise. And once you let us know, best and believe we'll get right on top.
All right. Absolutely.
Thank you, great question. Anybody else?
I want to ask, speaking about garbage and neighboring property, I live on Dorley Terrace, College Park. Schofield Road is a main road that runs through there. This property is woods all along Schofield Road, full of garbage that people are throwing there. I have dealt with this for years, it's the same garbage there. Nobody wants to say it's their property. College Park is such a property, but it's the city of Atlanta that owns it. I have had cases put on that property. They say they send out people. This is garbage, a house of trash. This is visible from Schofield Road. I talked to Taylor, our code enforcement person, and it would be helpful if you could help us to get, well, can you do that? Can you get the city of
Yes.
Atlanta?
What we'll do is, we'll connect with their code enforcement department and help you, assist you with getting them to answer what you want them to answer. Because that is a problem, because even though it's city of Atlanta, it can affect South Fulton, especially those cities that border South Fulton. So we can't say, just because that's city of Atlanta, no, that's the city of Atlanta, because it trickles over, it could trickle over into South Fulton. So it's an environmental hazard, and which is the way we gotta address it. That's the way we look at it. So we'll, get your information from Taylor. She's excellent out there in the field. Can you say it real loud?
Yes, she is the excellent.
Oh,
I've lived here for
y'all heard it.
45 years. She's the best.
She's the best.
Right now.
Thank you, we appreciate it. Anybody else?
I want to also say thank you for mandatory garbage collection. Thank you. I don't know who got that, whoever did it, but we have a lot of rental property. And people that rent, if it's not included in their rent, they are not paying garbage collection. They'll show us what she showed or behind her house. It's been a huge improvement.
Well, we have a great, city manager, Ms. Subhanan, who has come to our city and have taken leadership to another level in turning things around that wasn't turned around. So we thank her for her leadership in that. And thank you for being a concerned citizen for the city. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
What is the relationship between the width of the street and parking on the street?
It first starts with your development. So when they go to develop, there's a fire code, talks about how access is laid out. So the street should be 26 feet wide before you could even entertain the idea of allowing parking on a street in a subdivision. That begins in the International Fire Code. Every time the code is changed, there are changes. So before this access became regulated, some of the subdivisions were built with 20 feet roads, so over time you have access or roadways too small for fire trucks. And a remedy to those of not allowing on the street is that we have a process now in which the subdivisions, through their HOAs or the collective, can request to have their subdivisions with no parking marked as no parking. I understand, like Walden Park, that was part of the development, but maybe over time, people have gotten away from that. So you can get with your district representative and Mr. Rosan, yeah, and work through an application process of getting those areas absolutely marked for no parking. It's our concern on the safety for fire, EMS, PD, to make sure that it is roadways that are wide enough. But we can't go back and rebuild all the roads, so getting them identified that they're not large enough, or having residents who want their neighborhoods marked with no parking to keep the streets clear, we put into these processes to allow you to do that. And Public Works definitely helps walk through that process. But it all begins in the very basic of a land disturbance permit, how code, planning, engineers, fire, look at that subdivision in an LD plan and decide, how wide the roads need to be, how many access points, egress points. And from my point of view as fire, it's about safety and getting emergency services to you. People want to be, if you want to have gated communities, it has to be improved. If you don't want to have an egress going through to your next subdivision and you want to put up a gate, those things have to be approved, because the mentality for safety purposes is the quicker we can get through or access to the next one, the better off we are. But those are some of the beginnings of how these road widths came about. And one of the cultures that was brought on the planning side is that there are subdivision ordinances. So a lot of those subdivision ordinances began in Fulton County and now have grown and developed into a better product in the city of South Fulton. But unfortunately, we can't change the ones in the past. We help eliminate the issues that we identified in our future.
Good answer. All right, do we have any more questions from our audience?
Yeah, I have one more.
Yes, sir, come on.
Right. I already asked the one about parking, but we also have a problem, just recently in one particular area of Walton Park, where you have some young folk who are driving these little four-wheelers and, you know, making a lot of noise. And one house in particular is across the street from this, I don't like to use the word senior citizen, because I'm senior. But anyway, a senior citizen, a mature person. But this woman is in her 70s, and she wants to move now because they're making so much noise out there. They running around on the block with the four-wheelers, and some bikes, and making a lot of noise in a few block area over in the Serenade area. So my question is it code enforcement that comes out, actual police that will come out and, you know, stop these people from riding these, you know, four-wheelers and bikes? ATVs, yeah, that's what they call it. Yeah, the ATVs.
That would be, some things are like overlapping issues, so
Right.
it may be a conjunction between us and them, because there is a noise ordinance, where they can't, you know, be too much noise at certain times of the day. But as far as them stopping them, you know, that's like a crime in motion. So the police, will come and could potentially arrest them depending on what's going on. So if you can pinpoint exactly where that's happening.
Oh, we know exactly where it's at.
We'll do the same thing that we
Okay.
do for the cars on the street in conjunction with PD. And so we'll come together and take care of it.
All right, thank you.
You make sure to give the information.
Trust me.
And we were just in Walden Park, recently for our HOA and code enforcement collaboration. So, we'll be coming back.
Okay, great.
Don't you touch that down, all right?
Oh, I'll be there.
All right. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Okay, I start late, but I missed the part about the street parking. So I guess my question is, we did have a problem with street parking, we turned them in, they went to court, they paid it, and then they continued to street park even after they paid it. And then they said they had another court date, and it's been 6 consecutive months overnight, and we just can't, and they're, tenants. And it's an investment company that own the property, and we just can't get them to file. So, you know, I've involved police, code enforcement, and we just don't know what else to do at this point.
So, what we suggested, we're gonna get with PD, and then we're gonna collaborate to see what we can do for those repeat offenders.
Okay.
So I know that's a problem even with this code enforcement issue, people that keep doing the same thing. And then we have to follow a legal process, because you also have to give the criminal due process. You know, so that sometimes takes a little time. So we ask that you be patient with us and know that we'll be in communication with you as well, so that we can satisfy what's going on.
I have one more question about the parking issue, right? Because it's happening, like, I know in certain areas of Atlanta, you have properties and property managers that if a car is parked illegally overnight, they will come and tow that car, and people have to pay to get it out. Can we do the same thing in our community if the board decides on it?
We have done that.
Right.
We have done that as well, especially for junk vehicles. So a vehicle that's on the street that's either inoperable or unlicensed.
Right.
So those are easier to do than the one that's not unlicensed and inoperable. But again, we're gonna get with PD to see what legally we can do to eradicate that parking on the street. Because like, I'll let you.
You want to explain the HOA process, and they can have them marked in our private tow companies and have those. Right, they have to start a petition.
Just really quick, contact Rashawn Francois at that number 470-809-7409. There is a petition for no parking signs, and there is a process for that. That will get that started prior to them going out there. Once those signs, so you can put up signs out there, to follow that process. Once that's in place, once the signs are erected and put in and installed, that's when code enforcement as well as PD, especially PD, can go ahead and tow those vehicles if they are parking.
Right. Can you repeat
consistently.
the number again one more time?
That's gonna cost you a couple of dollars. 479-809-7409.
So, but if you put up a no parking sign, that means no parking at any time.
Correct.
So, no.
So that's the caveat to having a no parking sign. That means even if you have visitors for a birthday party or celebration, they can't park there either. So it's a catch-22. If you're adamant about no parking, then yes, that's the process. That's up to council to determine. If there's a time frame on that, that's up to council to, if it's the will of the body, to have a no parking between the hours of such and such and such and such on these days. So but at this moment, the policy is no parking at all times.
And with that proposal, I'd like to limit it for this certain hours. It doesn't remove the factor that concerns fire, EMS the most, because we're gonna be responding to emergencies 24/7. And if you allow people to impede your roadways, that impedes our progress of getting to someone in an emergency. It's been discussed several times, and that is our concern, because it doesn't matter if it's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the morning, we need to get there safely and not, be impeded from rendering care. And it also, when you have a house fire and you're looking on these limited roadways, we don't want to trap people who can go out another way, but you can't because people are parked on both sides of the road, and it also limits your egress or your access if something really bad happened or was occurring. That's one of the negatives to that. One of the positive things is when you post your no parking, if you have an association, you can actually post and have a private tow company, like you see many say, if this vehicle is still here, we would contact this private tow company and your vehicle will be located there. It's twofold to me. I'd love to educate everyone how we view getting that egress to people, having that access, and that's the component when you petition to get no parking. The first thing, educate everyone why. It's not that you're trying to inconvenience them, but if someone really needed to get through emergency services, we gotta have the roadway to get there.
And if I may add just one other, there's a customer relations number that you can also contact. 470-552-4311. Contact that number, and it's our customer relations, and they'll be able to take whatever complaints or concerns that you may have regarding it.
Any more questions from our audience?
I have spoken with Taylor about this already, but at Schofield, they put speed humps. There was dancing in the streets because they did it. I'm so happy. I live on Arlington Terrace, which is parallel to Schofield, 1 block over. So the speeders on Schofield have moved to Arlington Terrace, which is even worse because there's houses on both sides, there's children. So how do you get speed humps?
We have a current policy for speed humps, speed tables. Again, it's another petition. Contact that number, 470-809-7409, and get in touch with Roussan Francois. We are actually currently revising, modifying, adjusting the current speed tables, traffic calming policy. However, we have looked at Worley Road and Pleasant Hill in the past, and we'll look at it again. Any revisions to the traffic calming policy, we'll also consider those and bring them back in. More often, once you get the petition, you'll get a speed study done. Our team will go out there, run the numbers, do traffic counts, and then they go through the process of if it meets the warrants, then yes, it triggers the next step to go toward the speed humps. If it doesn't, then there's avenues that we can take in the meantime to mitigate. It won't resolve the speed Speeding is an epidemic.
Well, you know, Schofield, they had
Yes.
police out there and they're telling you how fast you're, for a long, long time. It didn't stop
I mean, as I said, it's an epidemic in the city, in the county, and in the state throughout, so, but yes, follow that petition, and we are making revisions to the traffic calming policy, and that should be coming shortly.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
How do you, when you put in a C-click fix, I'll speak up. When you put in a C-click fix, and you identify where the problem is, I'll just give you, I'll just tell you, I put in a C-click fix for Buffington Road, the gang graffiti that's on the school signs, that when you come out of Hickory Charter, you go past the fire department on the right side. 3 times, it comes back and said, it's the city of South Fulton. It doesn't belong in Union City, but I don't live in Union City, so when I put the C-click fix in, I specifically said, I put this in before, it belongs to the city of South Fulton, and then they just close it. Those signs, those kids that are coming out of school should not see gang graffiti on school signs, and it's been like that for now a couple of months. Those signs need to be changed. You don't need to wait until the road get finished. Somebody's putting gang graffiti on those signs, and they go up the school signs there. Just past the school, past the fire department on the right-hand side. The fire department sits on the left, they're on the right side, and you'll see the gang graffiti on the school signs here. And they need to come down and be replaced.
I'll have staff, I'll get with them tomorrow regarding that, and you said if you have a C-click fix ticket.
Okay, I'll
that
show
would-
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That way I can cross-reference what we have in our records. Usually we have a time frame where we acknowledge, and we assess and assign, I like to call it our AAA. That way you acknowledge it, letting the public know you should be receiving either an automated phone call or an email, as long as you have the contact information there. We have acknowledged it. That means it's open and you're assessing the situation. Once it's assessed, then we assign whether it needs to go out, if those need to be cleaned, replaced, or repaired. So in that way, once that's done, they'll come back to the admin, they'll put notes inside of that. It was, take a picture before, they see it's got graffiti, and a picture afterwards where it's been cleaned or replaced. And then they'll send should be another notification prior to it being closed that it's been completed. Once it's closed, obviously you know it's closed, but there shouldn't be, when you submit it, there shouldn't be, it's closed almost immediately. That, there might be a glitch, but again, I'll get that information from you and I'll cross-reference it with the staff.
Okay, because there is a confusion about city of South Fulton, Union City, it's like, who does it belong to? Is it South Fulton?
Well, I'll say this, some of unincorporated Union City belongs to South Fulton. So it's like a spider. You know, if you look at the boundaries, you go in and out. So you could be on Roosevelt Highway, you in South Fulton, then you're in Union City, then you're in Fairburn, then you're in Palmetto.
That's true.
You know, so we have those defined boundaries, but our code officers do know exactly where the boundaries are. We have a map, so they won't go outside of the boundary.
Okay, I have another question. And by the way, before I answer my question, I want to thank you all for the meeting, that we have a chance to come out and meet, greet, ask these questions and get things solved. And I love code enforcement, they'll be great for my community.
You say that in my mic?
They have been great for my community.
She said she loves code enforcement.
Yeah, Officer Warren is my favorite person. You all have been from my community, and that's unfortunate, but anyway. We'll talk about that after this meeting. But let's go back. This is a pet peeve of mine, and it's been a pet peeve of mine, and I'm gonna talk about it. And some people may not like it, and I don't care. But Walmart and IHOP, there is an area that sits down below IHOP, around from Walmart, across from the Popeyes or whatever that other wing place is. It's a gathering place. It's to the point now, it's so much trash there. At one time, they had sofas sitting out there. They were red sofas, they had got it from one of the other businesses. They hang out there all day. Now, the weather's about to break, it's gonna get worse. And now you have people that will come and park there and hang out there. And they'll go to the Walmart and buy a grill now and put meat on the grill out there. It is one of the worst eyesores that you've ever seen. It used to be in the evening, but if you go there in the day, because I work from home, and I may go out in the daytime, I say, here we go, they out here in the middle of the day. It used to just be in the evening, but this location is, I don't know who the property belongs to, and we're gonna have to deal with this again this summer. It's been going on for a couple of summers now. It's down from the it's around the corner. I don't know if that's, yeah, across from me. You know, and all that trash, and there was some sofas out there one time. Remember those red sofas that they got from somewhere? Oh, they sit on buggies. It is such an eyesore. It is disgusting. It's not good for our youth to see all these. It used to be just grown men, but now you got people parking and some women there. And these are not all homeless people that are there. And it's just so much trash over there. And now they go buy a grill now, put meat on there in the evening time. It's just like they're in the park. It is not the park. It's been going on now for a couple of summers. Now that the weather is broken, it's starting again. It's like, can somebody put a fence up there, or can we put no trespassing property signs? I don't know who the property belongs to. I called Walmart, the home office. Walmart said they don't think the property didn't belong to them. They think it was our property. The property belongs to somebody.
So what we're gonna do tonight is make a list, all your concerns, so I want staff to, staff, if you will, make sure we notate that and put that on the list, and we'll collaborate with PD once again, so that we can report back to you what we're doing.
But you know exactly what we're talking about.
I actually did talk to somebody from IHOP to try and get them to come out, and they were supposed to send somebody out there to clean it. It did get cleaned at one point, but
So we just gotta put more pressure, we just gotta apply more pressure. When it's situations like that, we gotta put a little more pressure. Especially, I didn't know the magnitude of it. This is my first time hearing about it.
It's 8 right here.
at first I thought it was A-Town, and then I went to Walmart, spoke with the manager, I couldn't figure out like who's, because it doesn't appear to have like an actual address. It's kind of like, it's a gray area.
Okay.
So it literally sits in front of A-Town, it's kind of in that little awkward triangle space, but, they do park over there, and I did see some, like, I do occasionally see them out there.
Every day.
Yeah.
So we gotta,
Go over there now.
man, what's your name?
Oh, my name?
Yes.
Sheila Brown.
Miss Sheila Brown, have you contacted the police at all?
I've talked to the council person about it.
Okay.
I've called the corporate office for Walmart. I've talked to the corporate office for IHOP. I've talked to everybody. And it's not only me, my neighbors, and all of us have talked to. I mean, it's an eyesore. I just want to be able to go to my own Walmart in my community and go peacefully without a bunch of trash and about 50, sometimes you can be up to 25, 50 people up there in that area. And it's a park right up the street on Flat Shows. Take Flat Shows and go to the park. It's
So
awful.
please, will you give us an opportunity to see what we can do from this point? See if we can turn that around, but please give us that opportunity. We'll assure you something will be done, because I don't want to hear that. I wouldn't want to see that either.
It's horrible. And it's worse now because, I mean, it's like, it started off a few people, but now in the evening time, they park over there, and make it a big party every evening. Music, it's like, it's an eyesore.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure, staff, make sure we put that on our list. Thanks.
They said they don't next door. I don't know.
Anybody, anyone else? We got any more before we move on? Miss Brown, you got any more questions?
No, those was my two,
How's the food though? Was it good? Was the food?
Pardon?
How's the food?
Oh, where?
They were grilling.
I didn't know that they put a grill, they had to go buy a grill, I'm saying, oh my God. Now y'all have a grill like, you gotta be kidding me now. You gotta be kidding me.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to be proactive.
Okay.
Here's the situation. There's a house next to me that's being offered for rental. It's owned by Invitation Homes. In that advertisement, it says that you can have 2 people per room plus 1. It's a 5-bedroom house. Now, does the ordinance, the law, fire department, what, does it permit? Isn't there some regulation that have to be, met before you can have 10, 11 people in a 5-bedroom?
That's correct. They can be unrelated. You know, when you start turning a 5-bedroom house into, that becomes a tenant home, which is not allowed. So anytime that we enter a home, or, you know, if we start seeing 5 or greater people that are unrelated, staying there for a long time, we would think that it's a tenant, boarding house, or so forth. And these are very hard for us to determine unless we're running constant EMS calls there, which is kind of how we identify the people who use homes for home health care, but not legally, not obtain a business license. But it shouldn't be that they would be able to rent a single-family residential home to multiple people, because that, if they're doing that and start isolating room to room, then we're looking at padlock situation. So that's something you would have to at least report to us, let us know. Getting that right of entry, you know, under situations is important, but it shouldn't be advertised that way. Because now you're turning a single-family residential into a tenant boarding house, which would have different fire requirements than a single-family residential home.
I push back on me finding out, you know, I'm not going, I can monitor whether they got 6 30 curves there for trash pickup, I can monitor whether they all pick up my parking space in the neighborhood, whether there's trash, I can monitor that just by seeing them, whether knowing whether they got padlocks, whether they are tenants, rooms.
Well, the things that you mentioned, that's the probable cause. The things you mentioned, that gives us probable cause. So when you report what you can report, that gives us probable cause on the fire department to go out there and assess it and go a little deeper. Because usually those are signs. You know, there's always signs first. You know, like you say, you see all these cars coming, you see these extra trash, you might even say extra mailbox.
And if we have an address, we can do our run logs to see how often that we may have responded there, because people have different situations, and see if we're running into different names and every time we respond to that.
Like I said, I'm trying, it's not happened yet, but based on the way the house is being advertised, we get the potential.
Well, the advertisement alone is enough for us to do some code enforcement there. So give staff that address, and we'll come out.
Who's that?
We got some code. You see those with the power compliance shirt? That's all code officers.
Now, what does it mean when your case is put in SAGE?
SAGE, so C-Click fixes the reporting system where you report the complaint. You can report it anonymously too if you like. Once we get it in there and we acknowledge it, like was mentioned earlier, we acknowledge it, then we put it in progress status. Once we go there and we find that there is a violation, now it's escalated. Now we put it into our system, create a case number, and now the real process really begins at that point. So we give them 10 days usually to cure the matter. After 10 days, we go back and we do a re-inspection. They have not cured that matter, now we take them to court. So once it goes into SAGES, that means a notice of violation is being issued, to answer your question in short. So as soon as it goes into SAGES, there's a case number generated, a notice of violation is sent to the person who created the infraction.
I notice a lot of the cases that go to court, the fine may be $500, but the court split the difference for them, maybe $250 because I see a lot of cases like that go into once they go to court. Isn't that like wouldn't it be a carrot if you make them pay for the fine?
The fine amount is determined by what happened at property, right? So if code enforcement is going out, they gave them a citation, now they're in court, they still have that time between court and when they got the citation to correct it. So sometimes when you're seeing them and they're in court, they probably corrected the problem, right? So now that fine has gone down, and that fine is determined by the judge and the solicitor, so it depends on what happened. So yes, it starts off at 1,000, or to be 500, depending on what the infraction is, right? But then when you come to court and you correct it, then that fine amount may go down, okay? The code enforcement officer goes back out to the property, or that person may bring in videos or pictures showing that they have corrected any time they receive that citation to their court date. I mean, they'll take you can come in with pictures, but the code enforcement officers do go back out to the property before the court date.
It's been 6 months and they've been reported, they went to court and they never stopped, never, even after court, there hasn't been not one day that they have not stopped.
And what is,
This is a hard one.
what property it is, I'm sorry? Is it a property, what is the?
Yeah, it's a home,
Mhm.
it's an investment property that has tenants in it. And they're parking on the street consistent for 6 months, every single night, never stopped, into court, never stopped. Did you, they just paid the fine, that's all, they just paid the fine, and kept doing it. They knew, they thought nobody was gonna come back and check them, so it's just good, it's never stopped.
Okay,
It's a nuisance.
okay, I don't know the property, I
I
can say
can
that.
tell you, I don't think a property in here, so I
Okay.
can tell you afterwards.
Okay.
Let me go with the question that makes sense. So what is the court's view for repeat offenders? How does the judge think?
If you are a repeat offender, which we do have, and you constantly is coming to court, you serve jail time. We have code enforcement people that come to court, and we have spoken to them, they keep violating, and then now we have to, or the judge will, put some time. So we have people that spend 30 days in jail and 60 days in jail because they haven't learned their lesson. So that is a process, right? So they definitely will have to continue to do it. The code enforcement people will probably still have to cite them, but after a certain time, then even if they don't show up to court, let's say there's we're keep citing them, they're not showing up to court, that's the FTA, that's a warrant, that's your time as well. They do not.
Exactly.
Code enforcement do not work at night. When it does come to parking, because I do hear a lot of parking, when it comes to parking, that is the police department, right? That after night parking, we call police, that is the police department, they will cite those cars, okay? During the day, that is code enforcement will come, like you said, that we do overlap, but when there's overnight parking on the street, that is the police department, we have to call the police department.
Do is, see how we can better monitor that in conjunction with police, so that you can have a better blueprint of what's going on, track progress. So we got to do a better job of tracking progress and knowing when there's a repeat offender. Knowing and say, hey, okay, they went to court, they've been cited, they paid the fine, okay, now we got to do it again. So some of those type of issues, we may not know about as code enforcement, like you said, police. We'll do something in conjunction with them to help you track it. Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, I told the city council that after they did it again, she said that you guys are, or city managers, whoever responded, said they were going to put it again. And so I don't know that they came up or not. It probably has, like I said, they just pay it and keep it moving.
Well, let's make sure we give that to staff. We're gonna make a list, we're gonna get a phone number, so that you can have direct contact with us. And we'll connect you with the proper police officer. We'll do a joint thing. Because our unity is more powerful than an atomic bomb, if we use it the right way. All right? Good. Anybody else? Open records? Oh, yeah, and then you can do an open records, you know, after the situations, you wanna dig a little deeper, you can do an open records request to get those open records to see what has been done.
Are there any streets in the district five that's being swept, by the, street sweeper?
We have a, road maintenance on our website, Public Works website, but those do not go inside subdivisions. The street sweepers do not go inside subdivisions. Any curb roads outside subdivisions along within the city right of way are being swept. So if you have a curb road that's outside of the subdivision, those are on a, routine, on the schedule, on the schedule, and those are being swept. If you are in a subdivision, you have yet to have the manpower or the equipment to go inside subdivisions to sweep those roads.
You don't know the specific streets that are being swept, curb?
Not off the top of my head, yeah, but I can get that information for you. And it's on our website as well. We do have a schedule of street sweeping.
I just looked at my notes, I had one other thing for my subdivision. The subdivision, when code enforcement have their meetings, to talk to the officers about not fraternizing in the subdivision with tenants, which are renters, because they feel like they are fraternizing with the renters and not give out pertinent information on who put in code enforcement, secret fix on them. A couple of neighbors who had a problem where the tenants or the renters, she put in the code enforcement ticket, you put it in. I know you put it in. Officer such and such told me you the one keep putting them in. Do not do that because it can be dangerous to the homeowners who live in those subdivisions. If they are fraternizing with renters, which is happening, don't come in the subdivision because we're homeowners. And you got a couple of renters in there, and don't fraternize with the renters in the subdivision and the tenants, and not tell them who putting in these tickets, and yeah, this is the person always putting them in all the time. It's not safe. I mean, because we don't know these people. We only know the homeowners within the subdivision, but when you got tenants or renters coming in and out, you don't know.
I'll say this, I cannot confirm nor deny that that happened, but I can say that it's not our policy.
I can say.
Because of what you said, because it will put someone at risk. And we express to our officers not to. Because I personally, I wouldn't want to go to sleep at night knowing that I told you who just called in and the lady come and did something to you. I couldn't sleep at night. And so that's never been our policy to do that. But sometimes, I'll say this, sometimes people, they feel they know, it's easy to pass the blame to someone else, you know, so just be aware that it may not be that we're doing that at all. It just may be that someone wants to pass the blame. Yeah, they don't name drop. He did. It's easy. She did. Right? And depending on the type of day you have, to you, she did it.
Yeah, when I had the problem, I called Officer Leon. I mean, I talked to him about it already. We had our conversation.
Okay.
You know, you didn't call me back again. I'm just gonna leave it off. You did call me. I appreciate you calling me because you did. Yeah, we talked. But you said you were gonna contact me. But I appreciate you calling me.
He gonna call you. He gonna call you.
We did talk. I know your face now. I got you. I appreciate you calling me.
Hit him at the door.
Yeah. I appreciate you calling me back. For calling me.
I do have some information on the street sweeping question for District 5. If you want to meet with me afterwards, we can go over that. But you can, again, on our website, just when you get on the homepage for the City of South Fulton, go to Departments, Public Works, Divisions, and just hover over Divisions, and you'll see a maintenance schedule. And on the maintenance schedule, it'll give you the right-of-way maintenance of our litter pickup as well as the street sweeper schedule. And yes, we can discuss that after the meeting here, and I can go over what the schedule looks like. I got it right in front of you.
And even on secret fix, even when you check anonymous, anonymous for who?
Well,
I've had-
we're gonna know, we would know, but we don't, the citizens know. So secret fix is a public thing, so anybody can go in there and see. So if you say anonymous, if you don't put your phone number in there, your phone number's not gonna show. So, yeah,
That's not happening.
No.
It's not showing up, but still, I'm saying, anonymous will lead you to believe that nobody had your.
No.
And a code enforcement officer called you, and then obviously he had your number.
yeah, but it's for us to know, because we might have questions for you to get clarity on the situation. But that information is not made public information to citizens. Then we would be dead wrong to make that information that's supposed to be anonymous, unanonymous. So no, we would, it's not a practice of the city. Anyone else? You got any more questions?
Well, something bothers me. It's been a problem for quite a while. What is being done with Camelot?
Camelot is currently, they're under order from the judge. They have involved contracts. Can't go into the intricate details of it, but something is being done and there is progress being made. May not be the progress you want to see right now, because sometimes we want it to be instant, but just know, problems with Camelot didn't happen overnight. It's easy to break something, but it's harder to put it back together. Take a little more time. So it's, broken situations in some of these communities like Camelot that we're working diligently to fix. I can assure you something is being done about it, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time. It's not one of those situations that you can just. Here's the difference with Camelot. Camelot is a condominiums, so there are different owners for the units versus someone like Biscayne, someone like Sierra Town, where it's one owner. So it's easy to go after one owner than it is a whole lot of owners at one time. So it's a complex situation with a lot of moving parts, but we on top of it.
What is being built across the street on Jerome Road? What is that subdivision? What do you want? What is it? Some kind of subdivision or something?
Single family home, Sherwood Manor.
Pardon?
Single family residence
Single family home.
called Sherwood Manor.
Okay. I mean, you didn't mind me asking you.
Oh, no, I'm waiting on the follow-up question. You want to know the price point? I'm waiting on the follow-up question. I said, I was waiting on the follow-up question.
Oh, okay.
You just wanted to know what it was.
Yeah, I know something is being built there, and I know it's some kind of home apartment.
It's 87 homes.
87 homes.
87. They're in the process of about to put the road in, so, that's pretty much.
But a $100 home, $150 home?
Oh, no, they don't know.
We're gonna put it forward. This, I think starting at 400. Then starting at 400.
I know turn around and look.
Yeah, because I know their voice. From being underneath this year, I know that voice.
See that what price is?
400.
400.
So,
That means that comparable value when they get rid of the assessment, do the tax assessment. It's gonna shoot my little tax and me.
Oh, yeah.
Going back to
Right there.
oh, yes, I thought you were going to say, I'm trying to keep the mud out the street as best I can.
I can't believe they put $40,000
Oh, you know, they got security. This security over there, that's about all day long is security. And so I'm hearing from time to time riding through, but you're about to see a lot of development, I promise you. If you ain't paying attention, you're about to see a lot of development.
But sir, when you leave Camelot, when you leave that subdivision, going back to Boyd Road, when you get past 3 Lakes, have you ever noticed that house right there
On the left?
on the right that has all those trash cans and all 7-8 cars that park around?
Say it one more time. Can you repeat it?
That's Paul.
I just wondering, had you observed a home not far from where this new subdivision is being built? Right there by Three Lakes, there by a house.
I'm not familiar with it. You can give us an address, we'll look it up. We can look it up before you leave and see if we might have a case on.
They are trashing on the street? No, we can't,
Any more questions before we, begin to wind down?
We did have some written questions.
Oh, we did.
One of them being for fire, it says, do you all still install smoke detectors? If so, how do I go about getting some installed in my home?
Yeah, we have a very aggressive smoke detector installation program. Anyone who's here can meet with Sergeant Harris. He has forms that you can request. You also can email crr@cityofsouthfulton.ga.gov and request it. And what we do is we come to your home, we'll install them. The smoke detectors that we have are battery operated. They're 10-year batteries. After 10 years, they're dated on the back. Remove them off the wall and replace them. But it is available for every citizen in the city of South Fulton to request 2 smoke detectors.
Thank you. Our next question is for Public Works. If a pothole damages my vehicle, who can I contact in the city for damages or repairs?
Repeat the question.
If a pothole damages my vehicle, who can I contact in the city for damages and repairs?
You can contact Eric Runyon, he's our risk manager, and I don't have his direct line, but you can call City Hall and ask for Eric Runyon, again, the risk manager, and he'll go ahead and facilitate any damages that occur for potholes. Please, don't just let your, call for damages, also call for a quick fix, or let us know on customer relations that there's a pothole out there. And then we'll get it scheduled to get filled in.
Thank you for that. Our next question is for court. If a case is being held in municipal court, can I, as a citizen, also join in to hear the outcome of the case? If so, how can I do so?
Yes, you can. Most of our court processes or sessions is on Zoom. You can log on to Zoom, you can log on, of course, from the website. Just the FYI, if you want to log into Zoom, you will download the app, you'll put our phone number in as the user ID code, and you can log on to any session. It's 470-809-7400. You can log on to that session. Just let us know when you come in that you are a concerned witness, citizen, so we can make sure we label you properly. And then you can hear the court process. We sit there all day if you want to hear all the court process on that day. Okay? We do have bench trials. Bench trials are in person, so you will actually have to show up for those. But most of our court sessions, Tuesdays and Thursdays, are virtual.
This next question could be for court or code enforcement. Is there an update or new process to handle the squatter issues in our city?
There's new legislation that just passed for that. We're gonna consult with our police department to see how that's gonna be handled. It just happened, like she said, it just happened, so we gotta wrap our minds around it to see what's our approach to enforcement. We'll get those answers for you. We don't have them directly tonight. We will get those answers for you.
Well, how would you communicate that to the citizens once you all, put everything in writing that this is how the city is going to handle it? How are you all going to communicate that to the citizens? So I think.
Well, we'll put the information on our website.
Okay, you have it on the website.
Yeah, we'll put it on
Okay.
the website. We'll also put out information about it, and you can contact us to ask us about it. We'll make sure our communication department, our public relations department is very good at putting out information. Ms. Dominique Muhammad, she's out there. She's a part of our public relations department. So it'll put out, trust me. All right. Anything else? Before we close out?
Can I address something about the trash?
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of times when the trash service is going through these neighborhoods, they're dropping all this nasty trash on the streets in the neighborhoods. And the trash may be in the trash cans, but still yet, there are neighborhoods that they are just dropping stuff, and that is an eyesore, or somebody needs to clean it up for their community, so. I don't know what can be done.
We're actually monitoring it, and we have our code officers are also monitoring when they see it happen. But we need your help as well to report it when you see it happen, so we'll know, because they are, contracted with the city, so that we can make sure that that's not happening. We know that that's happening, so we are out looking for it when it's happening, so that we can stop it.
And part of it, they have to put the residents' trash can back in place, because the mail people are not going to stop at those people's mailboxes if that trash can is blocking access.
If it's too close.
Yes.
So please report it. When you see that, report it. That will help us out.
But it starts with the homeowners. I mean, you need to tie your trash, put it on a trash bag, secure it and tie it up. And once they dump it, it won't come out and get, I mean, those guys don't get out the trucks anymore. All they do is use that equipment, dump it, and you're gone. If they would tie their trash up and put it in a proper trash bag, old grocery store bags, anything, I mean, just secure it.
One of the things we started with, before you had, I started with code enforcement and improving the quality of life. It starts with self-improvement.
That's correct.
So we're gonna start putting out stuff about self-improvement. Because sometimes we come after something that's happened, right? And we police it that way versus dealing with the mind and behavior. So these are behavior issues that has to be addressed. Things that you might see in Camelot and other places around the city, and you know it's not right. Common sense, you know it's not right. Somebody ride down the street, throw their McDonald's bag out the window, you know it's not right. But it's a behavior issue. There's something going on in the mind that causes one to feel that that's okay. So we got to make it not be okay from all angles.
So where the cameras been, that's supposed to monitor?
Well,
they conducting
but we have a bunch of them. We've been catching people, but they're in the most egregious areas. Priority is to the most egregious areas. And then eventually, we won't have them everywhere. But once we get one area where it's stopped or slowed down enough, we'll move it to somewhere else. But we do have cameras throughout the city, and we have been able to catch some. Not all, but some.
So the landfill is back up and running? Bush Road?
Oh, Merck, yes, expect. All right. Anybody else before we close out? We have someone in the back that didn't ask a question. You sure you don't have a question?
You don't?
All right, so.
Bernadette has a question. She has a question.
All right, so let's make sure we get y'all information, make sure that we get with our staff to write down your issue. Because we want you to know that we, as the city of South Fulton, and those on this panel, and those officers, and those who work for the city, we are here to serve you. When you go to a restaurant and the server come over, you got the person at the door. How many you got? Okay, follow this person. So you get customer service at every level. So that's what this panel is about, is to show that it's customer service at every level, all the way until you're sitting in your seat. Now the other person comes over, take your order. Then they come back and check on you. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna come back and check on you. How's your food? How we doing? Right? And even when you get ready to leave, how was the food? How was the customer service today? So that you can leave us a tip, not a monetary tip.
Do y'all have the capabilities of going back to where somebody filed a complaint on a home consistently? Do y'all have that capability in your system to go in?
Yeah, we can go back and see that this property continues to be in court. We can check the court record.
And give y'all the tip.
You know, I apologize for my tardiness, but could you introduce the people on the panel?
Okay, I'll let you.
This gentleman right here, I won't say his name.
I'm Will Adams, I'm the site development inspector for the city.
Hello again, and happy Thursday. I am Latrice Mosley. I'm the Development Services Manager. I'm with Community Development and Regulatory Affairs of the Permitting Department.
My name is Paul Muhammad. I'm the Director for Code Enforcement for the City of Southfield.
I'm Jim Martinez, Deputy Director of Public Works.
I am Carrie Stevens, I'm the case manager for municipal court.
And I'm Dawn Taylor, and I'm the fire marshal for the city of South Fulton Fire Rescue.
Let's give our panelists a rousing round of applause. Give yourself a rousing round of applause for coming out. We really appreciate you coming out because we want to stay connected to you so that we can serve you better. Thank you.